watching an InsurTech focused Medici video Q&A series called 7 InsurTechs, hosted by Rahul Mathur and myself. Today, the topic is Neo Insurer Acko is redefining insurance for the digital age. And how do I describe Acko? So Acko is not just an InsurTech company, it's also a licensed general insurance carrier. And it not just sells cars and bike insurance, but it does much more. They have 4.5 crore policy holders. They're selling directly and through other platforms as well. And I think a lot of consumer tech companies and platforms and all that they enable. We would like to learn a lot more about the company and the space. We have the co-founder of Acko, Ruchi Deepak, with us today. And she takes care of a lot of functions within the company, from legal compliance, HR, and also gets involved in various other departments. So we are very happy to have you, Ruchi. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Amit. Thanks a lot for having me. Thanks, Rahul, for hosting me. Really grateful for you guys to giving us this opportunity.
Sure. So maybe we'll just sort of jump in, and I'll start with the first question. I think traditionally the insurance model has been that I'm a licensed insurance company, and basically I do advertisements, promotions. I get a lot of customers. I take premiums, and then when they have an issue, I basically sort of help them with the claims. I think you are sort of looking at how this model can be reinvented so that the insurance penetration in this country can grow, and a lot more good things can happen with insurance. And in that, we understand that basically, as a licensed digital insurer, you are also powering other platforms and other companies to sell insurance, right? Apart from selling directly. So I wanted to first sort of understand kind of what are these different channels, what is the mix, and any other channel insights that you can provide to our audience.
Great. So Rahul, just before we start, I would like to give a quick background to Acko and how it started and just a little bit of history. We started pretty much in 2016. That's when we incorporated the company. And can you guys hear me? Am I
Yes.
audible? Yeah. That's when we actually incorporated the company and we applied for license. A general insurance license takes about 10 to 12 months to actually get issued by the regulator, which is IRDAI. The insurance regulator. So 2016 November, we applied for the license. That's when we were able to kind of raise the entire capital. You need capital to file for the license, for the operation, towards solvency. And I mean, a lot of capital requirements as far as insurance companies are concerned. So 2016 November, we applied for license, and I think September of 2017 is when we got the license. So it almost took us a year, or almost 10 months. And after we got the license is when we applied for our first insurance product, which is the flagship auto insurance that you can buy directly on our website. And that went live somewhere middle of 2018, because that itself is also a process with the insurance regulator in terms of approving the product and allowing you to sell it. So we started operating in auto, and the idea, of course, was to completely sort of change the way the sector was operating in terms of catering to the customers, the buying, selling, and the entire servicing process. So auto sort of was the easier one. Also, Varun, who's the founder, he had the experience of running CoverFox, where they had fairly done a lot of work on the auto insurance and how that could be made fully digital and direct and made seamless for the customers. So we went live with auto, and then we were looking at how to also kind of capitalize on the entire internet ecosystem that had come into play and has been into play for some time now. So we started partnering with the likes of Ola, with Make My Trip and Amazon, and we launched products that were extremely relevant and built for those e-commerce platforms. So for example, we launched a 1 rupee trip insurance on Ola that was covering a rider for the Ola ride that they were undertaking. We launched mobile insurance on Amazon. It's Amazon, I mean, like Flipkart, is one of the biggest sort of mobile retailer in the country. Then with MMT, there was the entire the suite of travel insurance product. So we decided to attack that side of the universe because the health insurance, as you know, there is, I think, umpteen number of products in the market. Of course, you understand, don't understand, that's a different ball game. But and as a general insurer, you can do everything but life insurance products. So auto being the sort of the straightforward one, and then we started looking at these contextual bite-sized products on these e-commerce platforms. So those are the two. So 2018, middle of 2018, we went live. So it's been almost 1.5, close to 2 years, and we have been actively operating in that space, trying to further streamline and make our processes as efficient as possible to make the entire consumer experience as delightful as possible. Some of those things that you want to do as a company, as a startup, those aspirations that you have when so we've been trying to fulfill those. This year, early sort of just before we got struck by COVID, we started looking at the health insurance space, and we've gone live, with health insurance offering in the employee benefit space with a wellness platform. And that kind of takes care of a lot of things around primary care, health insurance, wellness, all of built into one platform where you can access them directly. So in terms of space, now we are operating in these three space, Rahul and Amit, and of course, I mean, these are early days. I'm 1.5, 2 years of operations is pretty early. So we will take time to kind of look at other areas where we can dive into. But for now, I think we have enough on our plate as far as these areas are concerned.
Right. And I mean, we have been tracking Acko, both me and Rahul as well. Fantastic sort of initiative amongst a lot of conservative InsurTech players that we have seen before. But I have a bigger question to ask you that, in this country, the insurance penetration itself is very low. And, I think a lot of work that you are doing, I'm sure is helping that. So can you describe to us, are there new customer segments that you are opening up? Does your sort of offerings, do they help in terms of increasing the penetration of insurance in this country?
No, of course. I mean, that's something that we actively aspire for. I mean, it should. I mean, that's why insurance is if you talk to any banker or or a stock analyst, they will say insurance it looks like a very, very lucrative investment space, because it's still waiting to be untapped because the penetration level is so low. And as you know, the incumbent, the existing insurance players kind of operate in the intermediated space where they only use agents or the third party individuals or brokers who have absolutely no connection with the company, and they intermediate between the customers and the insurance companies, and the insurance companies kind of don't know about who their end customers are. And in the process, of course, there is a lot of apathy, and therefore the penetration is very, very low. There is, of course, the whole the problem of these products being complex, not very easy to understand for retail audience. So all of these things is something that we are actively trying to solve for by going digital, by selling directly. I mean, our motor insurance, car insurance, if you try and buy online directly, of course, that's much more simpler and seamless as compared to buying, let's say, from an existing player, which you can only do through a broker or an agent. So hopefully, I mean, that is helping the cause of penetration that we've been talking about. Then we've, of course, also looked at the entire e-commerce opportunity where, customers like you, me, and everybody who's availing these products and services can now buy insurance which is relevant, for that platform, for those products and services. Again, not something which is expensive, which is, extremely sort of, reasonably priced, easier to understand. So some of these things will hopefully, open up the penetration and solve that problem. Smaller ticket size insurance products, easy to buy. Service aspect is something we are heavily focused on. Our claim process, we are trying to make it as transparent and as open as possible. So, I mean, these are things which was kind of lacking, and hopefully, we are steering in the right direction as far as some of these core things that affect the customers is concerned. So we would hope that, yeah, in some, like, not immediately, of course, the effects will come much later, but hopefully, yeah, positive effects.
Right, right. No, the reason I asked that question is because me and my wife have been buying insurance from Acko for, I think the last 2 times we have done insurance for both of our cars. So I wanted to know because, we are a typical insurance customer, right? We have been buying car insurance forever. But are there new set of guys who are coming in? And I think that explains. So let me actually ask you something slightly different in terms of, like, you have been running the operations for 3 to 4 years, right? And I'm sure that there are a lot of learnings. Um, where is kind of the biggest pain point in the insurance industry traditionally in India? Is it in terms of sort of creating the policies, manufacturing the policies? Is it in claims processing? Is it in the amount of paperwork or pricing? Like, since now you are an insider, you can probably explain best where do we need more efficiency and more automation.
You mean to say from an insurance company
Yeah.
point of view or a customer point of view?
I think maybe both, because somewhere I think both of them will reflect on the other. So let's start from the insurance industry perspective, like what you have seen, and then I think for an end customer, I think it has definitely become much easier given that a lot of things have gone digital. But I think more from the insurance industry point of view, if you can start from there.
If I take an industry view, honestly, we are heavily regulated. Okay, we are probably the most heavily regulated, in fact, in terms of the entire financial services sector is concerned. So there is a certain lead time. You need a regulator approvals to do things. You have to work within certain boundaries, and some of those things are there. So yes, I mean, as an industry, maybe you have to really know how to kind of use the regulations to your benefit and to kind of ensuring that you stay absolutely on the right side of law. Apart from that, I think the industry really did not innovate for a very long period of time, right? I mean, now that you're seeing a lot of things are coming up in terms of technology or product or services and offering, I think some of those things were much needed. I think when you have at least 3 to 4 players offering similar kind of services, then it does make it's the right sort of market from a customer point of view. From a customer point of view, I think, like I said, it's just the innovation was lacking big time. The paperwork around it. I mean, everything was paper oriented, right? And I mean, who really does paperwork these days, right? Everything is pretty much online. You want to quickly, like, you're used to the Amazon, Flipkart way of buying things, right? So that's what you want to replicate in your financial services product buying and servicing experience as well. So I mean, there, of course, there is a huge area of opportunity from buying to to servicing to the entire claims process. Changing everything that's there. As far as these aspects of the operations are concerned.
Right. So a related question, and then I'll basically give it to Rahul. He has a couple of questions, but just one more question. Related question is that there is a saying in insurance that everyone hates all insurance until they need it, and there's a company called Lemonade in the US, and they started talking a lot about, like, in terms of like how the terms and conditions of a insurance policy are not that well understood by the customers, because it's such a long document. It's not in a format in which the customers could actually understand it. So basically, one of the questions I wanted to ask you is that is there a way in which InsurTech companies like you can actually make insurance in a way that people start loving insurance? And by that, what I mean is that is this kind of a customer education problem? Is it something else where if you start doing a bunch of things, people actually start understanding and appreciating insurance much more in this country?
I actually would argue that everybody hates not just insurance, but all kinds of financial services products. And you can't blame people, right? Because they are not made for retail, right? They're not made for customers. They are made for the company, right? And the way for all these years, the financial products have been sold, have been designed. It's just something that people like common man, I mean, people on the street would not even bother because it's just so hard to understand. And, and then on top of that, look at the governance issue, whether it was the whole NBFC crisis, or, sometimes you're going through the whole fear of your banks coming down, or the recent sort of episode with one of the mutual funds that happened where they had to shut down, the entire, some 10 or 12 of their schemes. I mean, honestly, some of those things don't inspire confidence, right? And as a retail audience, these are complex products to understand. Okay. And on top of that, then you have these things that kind of happen in the market that really, really taper down your own confidence in these products. So I think there's a lot to be done. I think from making these products simplified to easy to kind of understand to buy to everything. I mean, and technology has a huge role to play in that, right? I mean, you can't have a broker or an agent sitting face to face being able to do it in a transparent and a non-conflicting manner, right? So technology definitely has a huge role to play, not just in insurance. I mean, it has a huge role to play in making financial products relevant for retail audience. So I would argue this for not just insurance, but for all the financial services that are concerned.
Sure, I agree. Rahul, over to you.
Yeah, and I think it's truly fascinating because like Ruchi said, it was mid calendar year 2018 when Acko started, right? So the year one premium was something like $20 million, and that shot up to about 50 million for the financial year just closed, right? So on that note, Ruchi, one of the questions Amit and I have always had is what Acko is sometimes doing with the partnerships with Ola and Redbus, right? They're almost like first of a kind, mobility player tying up with an insurance company. Are there, any more such partnerships, in the pipeline that you can tell us about, or what kind of your learnings from being almost like this embedded insurance company where, a significant portion of your policy volumes and claims actually comes through your partner ecosystem?
Yeah, so Rahul, like I said, that was almost 50% of our business last year and the year before. So it is a huge area of operations for us, and that also helps us innovate a lot, right? I mean, the whole aspect of innovation in insurance is something that we get to enjoy when we partner with these businesses that are there, right? I mean, there are businesses, and the good thing is India is still coming up, right, as far as the startups and new businesses and interesting sort of startup ideas are concerned. We do expect a lot more opportunity and new areas and new sectors to open up this year. One area that we are also closely looking at, and you will see a lot more action, is credit. But again, travel and health, those things are going to be huge as well. And if you see anybody doing something else that's very, very interesting, we would definitely like to partner with them and see how insurance can become relevant for their business.
And on that note, right, it's very interesting to see, it's probably just Acko and maybe Digit that have sort of come out in the last 4 years as sort of carriers. Do you think aside from regulation, there's maybe something else that holds back more people kind of following in, I shouldn't say your playbook, but going down the full stack approach? Is something we see fairly often in the West, so there are carriers springing up every quarter per se, but it's just not happening in India. Is there something you kind of have to think about that?
Of course, the last license that was issued was to us and Digit and the HFL. Unfortunately, they've gone down. And yes, so regulatory is a huge barrier. That's like a huge sort of moat also for insurance companies. See, it's a very, very specialized field, Rahul, right? I mean, when you go to apply for license, you need to really demonstrate that, you understand the sector, you've run this business, there's a lot of, sort of very huge financial aspects of running an insurance business, right? There are claims ratios, you have to do reserving. I mean, there is huge financial aspects. So when you go to the regulator, you also need to have the right skill set and understanding of the sector to be able to actually convince them to give you the license. From our side, of course, we had a team that was there. Then Varun himself, he came from the sector, right? He was with Tata AIG, then he ran CoverFox. There also, I mean, the regulator also is not, they would not give out an insurance company license just like that. So yes, I mean, it's not easy to start an insurance business. And the understanding of the sector is extremely important. You can't do it if you haven't really been there.
Right. Ruchi, also share a little bit about the team and where are all of them based and what are the different facets of that.
Oh yeah, we have a very interesting mix of team, and I think as a company we take pride in the fact that we have people from the old insurance world to the new startup tech ecosystem, and the way they have blended and the way sort of everything is evolved and shaped up, and the camaraderie and the friendship and the bonding that we have is something that is we are very proud of. So of course there is, as an insurance company, you need to have certain regulatory positions like the CFO, Chief Compliance Officer, head of your appointed actuary, head of internal audit. So you have these positions, and then we of course have our business position, an entire technology team that comes on board to kind of build these very sophisticated technology. Then there is, of course, human resources and everything. So we are primarily headquartered in Bangalore, and we are about, I think, 350 people here. We have a small team that's based in Bombay, and then we have regional offices. We have a big office in Delhi as well, from where we run our customer experience center. And then we have, small offices, sort of claims offices in Hyderabad, Pune, and all of these cities.
Right. One more topical question. So in the last 4 months, as we are all struggling with COVID-19, how has it impacted your business and the insurance industry as a whole?
So, from an auto insurance perspective, we've not really seen much change, of course, because people still want to renew their auto insurance, and maybe there is a little bit of slack on new car buying, but we should hopefully see that change as well. The partnership business, Amit, of course, it's just how many rides Ola does in a day is how many insurance policies we will sell. So It's pretty much commensurate to their business. So I mean, yes, we've definitely seen COVID kind of attacking us on that front. Auto is right now, I would say, ring fenced. I'm not too bothered about auto. It's the partnership business in some aspect that has seen a little bit of slump. But like I said, I mean, partnership is something that is a huge area of innovation, product innovation for us. So we will continue to kind of build new partnership products. This year, we are looking at those opportunities. Credit is one of them. So let's see, I mean, another 3 to 4 months. But yeah, it's not like we are, totally sort of shielded by this whole COVID thing. I mean, it's been affecting us as well.
Right. Rahul, you have any other questions, or Ruchi, if you want to share something else?
I'm good.
I think I had an interesting conversation with you guys. I'm happy to answer more questions. Anything that any insight on Acko or anything that you would like to know? Sure.
I have probably on the lighter note, I think the last time I met Varun was probably at a conference, around 2015-16. After that, I have not seen him. He seems to be really keeping his head down and, focusing on the work.
Yeah, maybe I'll pass on that message to him and I'll ask him to catch up with you once this all gets over. We can all step out.
Right. Now, I wanted to also kind of convey a message to our audience that women in fintech and insurtech is a very, very important thing. And let's not just kind of talk about it and say it, but also make it happen. And at this on this point, I would like to do a quick shout out to the Fintech India ORG group, where we have a pledge that we will not do any manuals. So if there's no woman on the panel, we'll not do it. And we support it fully. I would request everyone in the insurtech and fintech community to sort of do that. Thanks, Ruchi, so much for your time. Thanks for joining us. With this, we would like to sort of bring this to a closure. Rahul, Ruchi, if you want to say anything while we close.
No, I just wanted to say that I really appreciate you guys actually taking this whole stand of allowing more women founder and leaders to come up and speak their mind and share their experiences. Of course, we desperately need that. I think the world needs that. So I think you guys doing it is immense. So thanks a lot.
Actually, a shout out to Sally, who is also a phenomenal fintech founder, sold her company to PayU, and she was the one who introduced us to Ruchi. So all power to women fintech and InsurTech folks. All right, thank you so much. Thanks everyone for joining us. This is also available live on YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn on Medici handles, and you can watch them later on after this session as well. Bye bye. Bye, Ruchi. Bye, Rahul.